Hi and welcome to the section on automation. You'll have heard me briefly mention this term at points throughout the course, so now I want to introduce you to what automation is and how it works. Automation is used to move or automate controls on the FL Studio interface, plugins and third-party plugins also. Automation clips are similar in ways to the event automation that we looked at previously within the piano roll, but unlike event automation, these new automation clips are not bound to a single pattern, and instead exist as their own separate generator. These clips are stored in the channel rack and playlist, and I think the best way to explain their purpose is to demonstrate a practical example. For this course I'm only going to need to use one automation clip to keep things simple and straightforward, but you can begin to extend on the principle to any parameter that is available to automate. So the parameter I want to automate today is the filter cutoff within Citrus. Now we won't actually be looking into filtering in this course, but to briefly explain what the cutoff here is, it's a function that is used to remove harmonic content from a sound, and in the case of this filter, we'll be using it to remove and reintroduce high frequency content periodically over time via automation. So let me just demonstrate how it alters the sound quickly. Now, if you refer to the playthrough video, you'll hear that the synth line starts out softly and gradually increases in intensity. This is because the cutoff is brought down very low to begin with, which removes a lot of the high frequency harmonics, and then it reintroduces them as we bring the cutoff back up in value. So first of all, what I want to do here is move the envelope parameter beside cutoff down to around 30% just to give it a bit of further reduction. And now let's just move the cutoff down while playing the synth to hear whereabouts sounds appropriate to begin with. So now that we've found a good starting point, it's time to create the automation clip. To do this in one of FL Studio's native synths or effects, right-click the parameter that you wish to automate and scroll down to Create Automation Clip. So if we look at the playlist here, you'll see that an automation clip has now been created for this sound. So first of all, let's use Shift and the mouse wheel to scroll this automation clip underneath the synth pattern. This is just to help keep things better organized. At this point, you're probably not going to be using any kind of third-party plugins, but if you are, the process of creating an automation clip is slightly different depending on what tools you're using. Generally speaking, to create automation for a third-party tool, you'll want to use your mouse to move whatever parameter it is that you wish to automate, then scroll up to Tools in the upper left-hand corner here, and then scroll down to Last Tweaked, and choose Create Automation Clip of that parameter that you tweaked last. So now let's get on to automation of the cutoff frequency. I'm just going to zoom in a bit here so you can see the automation clip better. So to create various points in this automation clip, right-click anywhere within the clip. Now between bars 1 to 49, we're only going to have 2 points. We can change the amount of slope here between these 2 points in order to determine how gradually the cutoff automation occurs. So to edit the value of the slope and to create a slow curve, just find the midpoint between the two slopes that you've created, or the 2 points that you've created, and drag this small circle either up or down accordingly. So I'm just going to set this second point value to around 50%. And then just use a gradual slope. So let me just quickly show you how that'll sound. I'll move it up here a bit. So this will result in a slow moving automation that takes place over time, and it just helps to keep the synth part constantly evolving. Now in the breakdown we have this shift in dynamics, and to aid that I'm going to return the cutoff point back down to its original point suddenly, so that it drops out from the more open filtered to a closed one. So what I'm going to do is copy this point here by right clicking, and you can copy the value down here and just drag another point down right to the point of the beginning of the breakdown. Right click again and paste it in. So from the breakdown until the point of the climax, we have another gradual rise, only this time the filter reaches a point where it's fully open, so that we have a greater impact in the climax, and all the upper frequencies come through nicely. So like before, I'm just going to create a slope. So the filter automation here remains open at 100% throughout the climax, and then gradually dips out over the course of the last two bars of the climax to take us into the outro of the song. So that's going to look something like this. So that's just basically a very simple demonstration of how automation can be used to add further movement over time. And like I said, you can apply this to whatever sort of parameter you wish, so feel free to experiment with the likes of volume and pan automation at this point too. We're going to do some more tweaks to this synth to make it sound a lot better than it currently does. So with that said, let's move on to the next video where we'll be taking a look at some transitions. I'll see you there.